Hey guys, J-Man here for the weekly Women of World Wrestling Talk, and let's just get going. Let's just get started right away. Let's bring in Steve. All right, we are ready.
Woo!
When is NXT on, or do we need to be watching NXT? Or I
don't watch NXT. I don't consider it main roster. Maybe I'm just a snob.
Yeah.
But it's on Wednesday anyway, and
yeah, I mean, for me, it's I'm not gonna bother with it. We've already got enough to discuss. It's not a main roster thing, so there's no point.
Yeah.
And I think if we keep these Tuesdays, it'll be okay because it's weird because they're so far apart. Friday, it's like basically Fridays and Mondays.
Yeah.
So Saturday's our normal stream that we do, right? So I don't want to interfere with that. And then Monday we've got Raw. So we really need to. I think this time slot's going to be the time slot if that's cool with you. And I think that works perfect because Raw's done. Raw's the big one that you got to watch, and then SmackDown, and then this way we have time to mull over what's going on, and then SmackDown we got a break right into Raw, and then boom, we're here.
Yep.
So I think that's how we're gonna go for it. Okay, so I'm making my little notes here, and I got a shirt.
Big time back.
So I was like, I should have at least a shirt because I have a shirt for every kind of stream that we do. So I was like, I don't have a wrestling one. I'm like, let me just get something. So it worked out perfectly because we ordered. I ordered this shirt and I ordered an Evangelion Neon Genesis Evangelion shirt, which I don't know when we're ever going to talk about anime, but it's good to have an anime shirt. And I got an Andromeda Strain mug because I just love Andromeda Strain, and there's absolutely nothing for Andromeda Strain. So I thought may as well get a mug, which is one of those printed. You go to those, it's like Redbubble or whatever. They just print whatever it is on it. And my wife got Blake 7, which we're currently watching, and we're just like, dying over how great Blake 7 is. But okay, so the today's episode is going to focus on SmackDown, which was February 4th, 2022, and then Raw, which was February 7th. So last night's Raw and Friday's SmackDown. So the good thing about it is that again, we're just covering the women's division. We're not going to talk about the men's division at all. There's a lot of places who already talk about wrestling, and if you're going to talk about wrestling, especially WWE, you're going to talk about the men's roster and all that stuff mostly. So that's why I wanted to do this and focus more on the ladies. So for SmackDown, the first thing of note was there was the Natalia versus Aliyah, Natalia and Aliyah had a match, and I guess so. Basically, Aliyah won clean. No, sorry, she won by a count out. I'm sorry. Yeah. Do you count that as a clean win? I mean, that's a very shitty win. I mean, I'm watching it and I thought, are they going to go for this count out? It was this whole thing where like she didn't know the time or count outs to me are the biggest cop out matches ever. Mm-hmm. And they, for some reason, I don't know. I've been following wrestling as we've discussed last episode. You and I together have collectively been following it for like 30 something years or whatever. Right.
Yeah.
So, and in all of that time from WrestleMania 2, where I started, you started WrestleMania 1. So you're 1 year ahead of me. In all of that time, I have never seen countouts enforced unless they come out to a win, right? Like I've seen people out there, like they may as well set up a picnic table, right? And I'm thinking in 10 seconds, like what is happening here, right? And then every so often there'd be like, 1 or 2 matches a year where it'd be like, oh, it's a count out. And I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about count outs. Are they, like even watching it on Friday, I'm like, count outs. I'm like, oh, is that still a thing? Like,
yeah.
So, I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't like count outs either. It's just because I consider count outs. I mean, you're right. There's a lot of time when people are outside, and generally it's someone's like been knocked around a bit, and the wrestler, what they'll do is they'll come out, they'll beat them up, then they'll go in and they'll start posing to the crowd. And you know that what's happening is the wrestler is giving time for the opponent to recover from the attack to come back in and make a comeback or whatever. Countouts. I don't like countouts, and I don't see the point of a countout here because Natalia is a veteran wrestler. She's done everything. She doesn't need wins anymore, right? It's more so getting people over. And I don't know if they want to push Aliyah, have her win clean over Natalia, right? Like,
Natalia's not gonna go for any belts or anything.
No.
She's not gonna be winning any of these things anyways.
And if she does win the belt, it's a placeholder until they can push someone else to take the belt off her, right? Like she was sort of she and Tamina won the women's tag team championships, basically to give Tamina a championship, which she'd never won. She never won any championships up to that point. And basically to get like Nia Jax and Shayna Bates or figure out what they want to do with them, and then push the next tag team, who I think was Rhea Ripley and Nikki Ash. Right. So,
and then they did that so that they can have Rhea and her, because this always happens in tag teams, that they're gonna go against each other, and then one usually gets eaten. Like it's like Mari Jannetty's gone, Shawn Michaels is up, Rhea Ripley's up, Nikki's gone. Like
Nikki's gone. We'll get to that. Yeah, but like with this thing, the only thing is that I want to like Aliyah, but she's not very good in the ring. She comes across as very, and Natalia is one of the best workers. She's part of the Hart family.
Yep.
Like she leaves. If you watch her, if you actually break down her matches, she leaves big targets. Like she stands there like this and she leaves her jaw like hit it. And like frigging, if you can't have a good match with Natalia, you got to go back and relearn your craft.
Yeah, I can't. So again, I'm starting this, the women's division a little bit late because I kind of was out of it for a while. I'm not seeing anything like special about her that much. I'm like, yeah, I mean, she's there. Mm-hmm. Being a pretty face doesn't mean a heck of a lot anymore.
Nope.
That's sort of just like a who cares thing at this point, right? Because everyone is like somewhat, decent looking. Oh, hey, Sean, what's going on? Countouts are from a time where pro wrestling competition.
Yeah.
I know. Right. You're like, oh no, and everyone knows now it's a bunch of crap. So it's like, who cares?
Yeah. Well, back in the day when they used to have 20 for count out, and they had something where, a champion could lose by count out, which I think they did with Flair. I think they did have Flair at one point.
Yeah, that's super gone now. Now it's like basically a clean win or you don't get the belt.
Yeah, it's either pinfall or submission, which is generally considered an actual win. Disqualification or count out is garbage. It's more like, I don't want this person to lose, but I don't want this person to lose, so we'll do the count out or the disqualification or the cannot continue sort of BS. But it doesn't do anything for anyone. And it doesn't do anything for Aliyah. It doesn't do anything for Natalia. It's just a garbage finish.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so that match, I mean, that was a SmackDown match. We had Naomi versus Charlotte Flair was announced for next SmackDown.
Yeah.
So that'll be this Friday. And that was so Sonya Deville could escape Naomi, who confronted her. I mean, I don't know much about Naomi. She seems cool to me. Like I like this neon thing that she's got. And Sonya Deville, her thing is if the jacket's on, then she's
an official. The weird thing though is that Sonya Deville is a legit MMA fighter, so to have her sort of like a coward in this is kind of weird to me. Like she needs to, like, when they made her an official, I thought that was awesome because here was a very talented performer who has a legit fighting background who just wasn't being used properly. So I'm like, oh, this is cool, but making her like afraid of Naomi or whatever. Naomi's talented, super talented, but like I don't know. I don't know if I buy it.
I guess they got to give her some sort of angle that's a unique angle.
I guess
that's what they've got, that they decided to go with. So SmackDown was pretty light on the women's division stuff. There was really so Sonya Deville came out. There's only 3 segments, which is crazy. So Sonya came out talking to what's her name, Charlotte, and she was saying, "Oh, Ronda picked Becky." Is that what she said? Yeah. But I was like, wait a minute, did I miss something? Like, what's going on? I'm like, no, that was just a bunch of crap. And I do like Charlotte Flair's dialogue, and I like her being like, "Oh yeah, I'm just like too good for this, and this is my baby, and it's prettier than yours, and all that."
Yeah.
And yeah, like she's like, the 2 moms should fight it out. That's a lot better, because
you
guys are moms. You're not going to do anything, right? And then she's like, "Oh, I'm gonna fight Sasha Banks." And then of course Ronda comes out with her, with her song and all
like
that.
I pick you and blah blah blah. Yeah.
I pick you. And my wife was like, "Is she gonna fight in high heels?" I was like, "I have seen her like take hits and stuff in heels. It's like I don't think she's gonna fight," which she didn't fight, but I mean, really, that did that end? I can't remember if that ended this.
That ended it. Yeah,
that ended it. Wow. So you got to the point where Charlotte Flair just having like like a cheap interview or whatever to get heat or whatever. Like her thing is like end SmackDown. That's pretty big.
Yeah. I mean, Charlotte's a true star. I don't. I would prefer it wasn't Charlotte versus Ronda at WrestleMania, only because if it's between Charlotte and Becky, Charlotte's going to give Ronda the better match. Charlotte is more athletic and she's more talented in the ring, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But Becky is a better storyteller to me. Becky is more charismatic than Charlotte is. Charlotte's a great heel. When they made her face in the past, it didn't really stick that much. Well, teaming her with Asuka and they became the tag champs for a while was absolutely the best ever. But then they did this whole thing with her versus Lacey Evans, and Ric Flair was with Lacey Evans. She basically told her dad to go home,
right?
Which was kind of just a weird angle. But the problem is that Charlotte versus Ronda has no story. Like Becky.
Yeah.
Lynch won that triple threat match, which is the only L in Ronda's career. She should really be fighting Becky at WrestleMania. Charlotte you got Alexa Bliss, who she destroyed the doll, which led to her leaving for a while in the storyline. And right. Like Sasha Banks has had run-ins with her. Lita's had run-ins with her. She's got a whole host of people she could have wrestled. It doesn't do anything storyline wise for her to fight Ronda Rousey. There's the history between them isn't that great. There's more history between Becky and Ronda, and now you're left with like who's going to challenge Becky at WrestleMania. Like,
I think now because of this, I'm thinking that Becky's gonna win at Mania. Whoever she fights,
she has to.
Right, because who's going to take down big time Bex, right? If it's not Ronda, right? So I mean, who's going to? I just don't see anyone really doing that now. See, for me, I mean, you could have had 2 good matches, Charlotte versus whoever, and maybe Alexa Bliss or whoever, and then you could have had Becky and Ronda go at it. But now you're going to have one where I'm pretty sure Becky's going to win, and I'm sure Ronda's going to win. Now I've got 2 matches where I'm pretty sure who's going to win.
Yeah.
Right. So I mean, this is this whole problem with, you brought when someone comes back, they're like, okay, well, you got Ronda back. Well, that's a big person to get back. So what are you going to do with this person? Well, you're going to have to give her some sort of belt or something. Right. So they're like, well, so if you're going to do that, you have to think, who are we going to take it away from? So I don't know. I mean, if Ronda takes it away from Charlotte, what is going to who's going to go after Ronda next? Like they have to create something's going to have to happen to plant the seed for the next story. Right? Because WrestleMania ends. WrestleMania is where the stories end. To me, that was the reset. Like, okay, like Mania, this is it. Like, this is when it all Hogan Giant. Like literally Hogan, like that WrestleMania 3. I know everyone says, "Oh, WrestleMania 3 is awesome." Well, that's because it is awesome. And literally, it's like you waited. Like when we were watching, we waited for. We're like, "Holy shit, Andre the Giant versus Hogan! This is insane." And Hogan wins, drops the boot, the leg drop, boom. That's it. It's done. That's concluded.
Yeah.
So that's how that pattern has worked for like 30 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So, I mean, why change that pattern really? So I don't know now. So to me, it seems like Ronda's a for sure win and Becky's a for sure win because she's not against Ronda.
Yep. Yeah. See, they shouldn't have had Ronda win the Rumble. You didn't need to have Ronda win the Rumble because Ronda wasn't affiliated with either show. She could just show up and challenge whoever, and she's got instant cred because she's Ronda Rousey.
Right.
You needed a Bianca Belair, a Liv Morgan, Sasha Banks, a Rhea Ripley to win, and then make that decision with that push behind them. Ronda's got an automatic push. She's got automatic money because of her rep. She doesn't need to win the Rumble. You needed one of these other women to win the Rumble, right? And then make the choice. They didn't do that. So now you're kind of like, well, Ronda versus Charlotte, fine. Ronda's going to win. Becky's going to win. Like you said, 2 matches that you go and saying, I'm watching this. You watch for 2 reasons. You watch to see the show they put on, and you watch to see who wins. Well, half of the reason for me to watch is now been taken away from me.
Yeah, I'm going to be really shocked if like Becky loses to whoever she's put up against. So Elimination Chamber is going to be Lita, and Lita's going to lose that, obviously.
Yeah.
It'll probably be really good. It'll probably be a good show.
Oh yeah.
Well, we may as well just get into Raw then, since we're pretty much. Anything else on SmackDown?
No, Sasha Banks being MIA is always like Sasha's one of my favorites. I don't like when Sasha's not on the show. Don't worry about Rousey after she wins. They can send to SmackDown Jobber out anymore. Is like yeah. Just Joe. The problem is that.
So let me read Just Joe's comment. But okay, don't worry about Rousey. After she wins Title Mania, they can send Rhea Ripley to SmackDown.
Jobber out even more.
Vince is like that, and he will teach Triple H. Yeah, I mean, I like Rhea Ripley. I would have liked to have seen her go against Charlotte.
Oh, that would have been great because Charlotte has owned Rhea. She's the only one. Like Rhea destroys competition until she faces Charlotte Flair, and you're like, okay, Charlotte Flair's built. She's built like a thoroughbred, right? She's very tall. She's very athletic, right? Her finishers are all athletic moves of natural selection, the figure 8, all that stuff.
Yep.
Rhea Ripley and her match up well together. The only other person who may match up well to Charlotte is Bianca Bel Air. Very athletic, very strong. So one of those two would have been perfect, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Well, they didn't do. And Rhea Ripley has had time and again, not last WrestleMania, I think the WrestleMania before, Charlotte went to NXT to face her when she had the belt and beat her for the belt.
Yeah, so there you go.
You could have it back, but I don't know why Rhea Ripley was stuck in this no caring Nikki Ash fight. It didn't do anything for her.
Rhea Ripley is above and beyond the normal level of just being a wrestling superstar, because I'm trying to follow as many of these people on Twitter and all that stuff. And there's a lot of people that look up to her too, just because she's transformed herself into this other kind of character now or whatever. And it's so give her a put. I think it'd be interesting to have Charlotte, who's the oh, I'm so cool and I'm and you know, right. And then Rhea Ripley was like, I'm just like this gritty girl who's like, it's like the Mr. T Rocky.
Yeah.
Rocky, like
Yeah.
Rocky's like the big rich guy who doesn't give a shit about it. Well, in Rocky 3 at least, he learns his lesson.
Yeah.
It's fine. He learns his lesson. But I think that would have been interesting. Well, because Ronda, something should have happened in the Rumble to Ronda. Ronda comes back and she's beating up people. She clears the ring out, and then somebody, pick your person, I don't know who, pick someone who attacks Ronda and like maybe knocks her out or does some bullshit to her, something really sneak attack or something. And then Ronda's like, you ruined my chance to win the Rumble. Like, let's say it was maybe Charlotte, Rhea Ripley, Ronda, and I don't know, just let's pick somebody. Who can we pick? I don't know.
Bianca Bel Air.
Bianca Bel Air. But Bianca wouldn't do that. That's like who's someone who could be like, I don't know, let's say Liv Morgan.
Shayna Baszler.
Okay, Baszler. And then she does something, like Ronda's gonna win, and then she does something and F's it up. And then Ronda's like, what? It's like, you ruined my chance to go to Mania and to be the main event at Mania. Now I'm after you at Mania. And then, right? Yeah. And that's where you start that. I don't know. Is she still injured, Steve? Do you know?
She had a foot injury. She wasn't supposed to show up to the Rumble. She did. Maybe it's that. I don't know. It's just weird how they did that. It's possible that that's why they did it, because then Sasha didn't show up the next week. So, yeah, maybe. The only problem with Sasha is she is so injury prone. She gets hurt a lot. So that's why her push has been very sporadic. But yeah, I could see that. I would love to see Ronda versus Shayna Baszler, two legit MMA fighters in the ring. They're part of the 4 horsewomen of the MMA. So they really could have done that easily. Or you have Becky Lynch interfere. She's not even in the match, interfere and throw her out because she's like, I don't want you in here because I already with you. Why are you back in the WWE?
Yeah, but it's just this thing. It's this Brock Lesnar thing. It's this thing where these people leave, then they come back, and then they're like, well, I'll come back if, I get X, Y, Z, and then they basically got to do it because they want to get Ronda back in there. So Raw, we talk about Alexa Bliss, who's going back and forth with this. I mean, I don't want to talk about the men, but what was the lame? Oh, the Randy Orton and that other guy who are doing these academic things.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be funny, but it's just so lame to me that it's like almost unwatchable, to be honest. But in any case, but anyways, the women have their little thing, which is funny too, which is this Alexa Bliss stuff. Hey, Double C. Yeah. That'd be good too, for sure.
She'd be one of the few who could match her in the ring.
Match her, yeah. Yeah, Rhea Ripley's like awesome. I like when someone when someone transcends the character.
Yeah.
It's, you're this character on wrestling, but now it's like, no, it's like Hogan did it, Macho Man. Like, she's really gone up. She's really changed her entire
look. She's unique, right? She's not a cupcake. She comes out, she's got, the biker look, and she's got all tattooed up, and she's got the short hair, and she's got the black lipstick, and she's got the big hoop earrings, and she's like the nightmare, which is I know it. Yeah.
I'm nervous about that stuff. Even Bianca with her.
Yeah, I know.
I'm like, oh, if that gets caught or something. Ugh.
But like Rhea Ripley is physically imposing. So, and she's got this vicious, persona, the Nightmare, which is a great nickname. So she needs to get pushed to the moon. I don't know why she isn't. Again, maybe it's like just Joe said, maybe it's just Vince showing Triple H something like, oh, you get these girls in NXT and then they come here. But Becky came from NXT. Charlotte came from NXT. Sasha came from NXT. Bayley came from NXT.
I don't know. The thing is, because I don't follow too much behind the scenes stuff. Even for movies, when we do our movie streams, I don't really follow a heck of a lot of behind the scenes stuff where people say, "Oh, this producer's said this," or or this guys, or Kevin Feige did this, or Walter Hamada did this. Hey, skeptic, what's going on? Or they say, "Oh, I don't follow any of that stuff. I'm just looking at the final product." So to me, you look at the final product. We're watching SmackDown Raw, and Rhea Ripley is like obviously awesome to me. So I'm like, yeah, like this girl needs to go somewhere. Okay, but Alexa Bliss, she's crying on the sofa with that guy who's like he looks like the most relaxed. Like I thought I was thinking he was going to be a wrestler or something, because he's like just so relaxed. Like now here's a fake
Lily doll. Yeah.
Here's a fake Lily doll, which you can get at the WWE shop. Order now. Right? And it's like, okay, you can get this WWE Lily doll at the shop. And he's like, no, this is the fake one.
Yeah.
Here you go. And then Alexa's talking about her day, about what's going on.
Yeah, her day from now where she's cut off. And
I'm thinking this is just like a normal day for me. She's like, oh, this person cut me off, and then I couldn't get a parking spot, and then they're being dicks in the line. I'm like, this is normal. I was waiting for her to tell us the bad part. So I'm thinking this is what normally happens. Like, what are you talking about? So that was funny. And then he gave her the doll, and then she was all crying. I mean, like, is she injured? Is that what's going on? Like, what is going on?
She had nasal surgery, which is what led to her leaving in the first place. They're trying to introduce her back. I'm a little bit worried about this, only because I don't think the whole, like, her look was fine, but I don't think the character worked very well, because having her hypnotize people and make her almost like an Undertaker character, just it doesn't work anymore. And I was hoping that what they would do is bring her back as sort of like she was having an identity crisis, and she would actually fluctuate between the goddess character who she used to be and the fiend Alexa Bliss, which is what she became. And just to have her doing this again, I'm like, this didn't work the first time, I don't think. Like, I don't know how popular Lily was and how popular she was with Lily. Maybe she was a lot more popular than I realized. It was kind of like, why didn't they turn John Cena heel all these years? Well, John Cena was a big merchandise mover, even though storyline people were begging for him to turn heel. Maybe people really like this Alexa Bliss in this persona. I personally don't. I like the goddess character because I think it works better. But this is fine. But I'm just like, where are we going with this? Like, what are we doing with this?
What if they did like a Two-Face thing, like what you're saying, where she flips? Maybe what if they had a Lily doll and then it turns to a really pretty looking? Maybe they could have like a two-sided doll. But I mean, and like basically, she's Harley Quinn. Like the second you see her, it's obviously that this is a Harley Quinn kind of look. And her face, like, it is a little bit like, she's not Margot Robbie level, but like she's pretty close. Like she can,
she fits the blonde, blue-eyed,
and I like, it's literally, I don't know, I've got the Harley Quinn toy right there. It's like literally that. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, but then this doll, I don't like when people try to do mysticism and stuff where it's just like, no, I don't like it. Yeah. So if you just made her crazy, right, where remember Jacqueline Hyde, which is one of the from Thingy, where she was literally like down the middle, and she was like,
down the middle.
This was white and this was black, and then she would go crazy. She wouldn't know whether she would try to cheat, but then she wouldn't cheat. It was like she didn't know what she wanted to do. Maybe do Alexa Bliss like that, where she's just crazy. Like Mankind, you didn't know if you were gonna get Mankind, you didn't know if you were gonna get Dude Love. It's like you didn't know who was gonna walk in. Remember when Mick Foley was 3 participants in the Rumble? That was kind of silly. What's Joe got to say? Alex wants to do scary look. I'm good with it. No, I agree. Joe, that's exactly what we're saying. Like I think it's the hocus pocus. It's just too silly.
It's ridiculous. Like, don't make her that, she's got supernatural powers. It worked for Taker in the 90s when you still believed in that sort of character. But this is we know the Undertaker can't start fires with his hands and lightning bolts and raising the lights. It helped the man was 6'10", right? that did help. But Alexa Bliss is just 5 foot.
He was Undertaker. He was the faked Undertaker, or whatever.
Yeah. So.
Okay, so yeah, I think we're both in agreement that if you want to go back to Goddess, okay. If you want to stay as the Fiend or whatever it is, that's fine. But you can keep the doll and have her love the doll, but you can't have it that the doll can do things, and that's dumb. I would prefer her to lose the doll. I don't like wrestlers remember when Mine, what's his face? Georgie Animal Steel had Mine or whatever. He was that little stuffed toy. It's like, eh.
No, the only time it worked was Al Snow with Head.
Oh,
that worked but
that was very weird.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
That was just a little weird. Like this doll, it's obviously fake creepy. Like it's fake creepy. WWF is real. Well, the World Wildlife Foundation is real.
Yep.
But not the the WWE. Well, the WWE is as real as a film. Mm-hmm. People forget too. Just to sidetrack for 2 seconds about that. Look, the thing is that you're with these characters. It's not like a movie where you watch a movie for your 2 hours and then you go home. I mean, you're potentially, depending on the wrestler's career and how long it goes, they can go a long time. You could spend 7, 8 years, 10 years, 10 years of your life watching twice a week plus one every month pay-per-view. Like we're talking 12 pay-per-views minimum, right, in the year. And then you're talking about what, 100 and what is it? 104
shows,
or 104 shows plus 12 pay-per-views. Right. So it's like 115, whatever, let's say 115. And there are at least 2 hours a piece. And the pay-per-views are 3 to 4 hours a piece. Some of them are longer. So we're talking a lot of hours with these characters. If you just multiply this out.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you can foreseeably grow up with Hulk Hogan being your kind of mentor. Like Hulk, I would know kids that, like, for me, it's like Superman, right? And I specifically knew a couple of people who it's like my Superman and they're Hulk Hogan.
Yeah.
Like they're like, Hulk Hogan is my Superman. He's a character. He portrays this. He plays it. He's an actor. He's and he fights every week or whatever. Mm-hmm. I mean, you can grow up with these characters, and I think they're just as important. This is why they sell toys. And and people are buying shirts. Like it's like people and people do cosplay. I've seen there's a guy at every toy show. He does Bret Hart, and he's awesome. It's like exactly Bret Hart, So you like the Goddess Alexa Bliss? Yeah, I like Goddess too.
Yeah, Goddess just worked. It just worked really well. She was a really good heel. Like what she is now is, I guess she's a tweener. Like I guess she's technically a baby face, but she's weird. So I don't know. Like I like Goddess. If she wants to do goth, like Just Joe said, I'm cool with that too. But I just want a direction for the character, because since she was the Goddess, that was the last time she was a character for me since then. Other than what the spooky shit. But like again, I don't buy it. So it just comes across as weird. Like, why are you doing this? Like this for little kids. Like I'm 40s. Like I'm not buying this.
All right. Well, yeah. Okay. So that's it. So Elimination Chamber, we've got Liv Morgan's confirmed. Rhea Ripley's confirmed. Bianca is confirmed. Dewdrop is confirmed. Nikki Ash is confirmed. And we're missing one, right? Did we? We don't know who the last participant is. We didn't find out, did we?
Let me just
read my own. I was watching. This is me watching Raw at night on an iPad in the dark while I was trying to set up the stream. Like I was trying to set up some, so I kind of, I'm like, did I miss something here? But I think there's just 1, 2, 3, 4. There's only the 5, right? But there's supposed to be 6, isn't there?
There's supposed to be 6. Let me just double check that.
I was trying to take screenshots.
Yeah, it's TBA. It's TBA.
It's TBA. Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
Sometimes they do, like, the problem with nowadays is because it's on social media. Sometimes they announce people on like social media, so you never know.
Like, is that like that's like a week and a bit away?
Yeah.
So they'll have to determine that on Raw or SmackDown this week. Then we'll know this week. We'll talk. How does Elimination Chamber work?
So it's 6. It's literally 6 chambers, and 2 people enter, and then the other 4 in their tubes or whatever their chambers, and then periodically someone else comes out, and it's elimination. So each wrestler has to be pinned or submit.
Yeah. So anyone pins anyone, the person pinned is out.
Yeah.
It's freaking Thunderdome or whatever.
It's Thunderdome.
2 men or 1 lose.
And some of it, sometimes it's great where like you get like crazy spots, which hopefully they still. I haven't seen an elimination chamber match in a while, but like you do crazy spots like was it Jericho speared through a freaking chamber or something, like it's just like craziness. That's great. Or Kofi Kingston used to be in it all the time, and he would like climb the chains and then do crazy moves off the chains and stuff. Like that was cool. But Bischoff was the one who well, he didn't. I don't know if he came up with the idea, but on camera he was credited with coming up with the idea. So that's how long it's been around. Eric Bischoff was like an on-screen character, like regular character.
Yeah, this will be my first women's elimination chamber that I've seen. So
yeah,
I actually liked the Royal Rumble match. At least, I thought that was pretty good. I might grab that if it comes out. It'll come out on DVD or whatever, I'm sure. But okay. So we'll find out this week about the last person in the elim chamber. We had Bianca Belair versus Nikki Ash. Like, I mean, obviously Bianca was going to just win.
That was a pseudo squash.
That was a no-brainer. I know.
Yes,
I know. I did pick up. I got 2 Becky Lynch figures, and I got 1 Ronda figure, and I got 1 Charlotte, and I got a Ronda Funko. Those are the only ones that I've got. They had a who did they have? They had an extra. It's hard to get these figures. Actually, it's not that easy. And like I have the best one I have is the Becky Lynch one, the Money in the Bank with the belt. That's the best figure I've got. I've kept that in the packaging. I've got a crappy, and then they've got those lower price pointed figures. So I've got Charlotte, Ronda, and Becky in the lower price point. They're not bad actually, really, for the price point. But then the bigger price point, I only have Becky, which is fine. I'm gonna leave it at that. What's Just Joe, one of the first Goldberg experience.
yeah.
Goldberg,
man, just
he's gonna be fighting. He'll be fighting. I watch him on the Goldberg's TV series, so I see him on that all the time. I mean Bianca just won clean. That was a clean win.
Yeah, they tried to do the fake. She's got a knee injury, which, I mean, it's funny how she suddenly forgets that her knee's supposed to hurt when she's like lifting her up and giving her a couple of slams and a couple of suplexes.
Right.
I mean, I guess they tried. They're trying with Nikki, but Nikki's she's a jobber, man. Sorry. Like, they tried, the best run she had was when she was the underdog and she would win shockingly. And it was like, oh my God, I can't believe Nikki beat me. They started with the whole, you have to beat her within a minute and 30 seconds or something like that. And if you don't, she's won.
Right.
And Charlotte and Rhea Ripley were just kicking her ass, but like they would forget about the clock and then she would win. So that was kind of cool. And then when they made her the superhero, it was initially okay, but turning her heel, she's the underdog, man. She's always been like, she works best as the underdog. That's how they should have left her. They probably should have turned Rhea Ripley heel, but no one wants to see Rhea Ripley as a heel.
Right.
If it's Asuka, that will be insane. Double C. That would be great. I would love to see Asuka as the 6th person. She's healthy. She could do it. And she's the Empress of Tomorrow, man. I love her Empress.
She looks awesome, and her like her figures and like the Funko and all that.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
Japanese, so my wife's like, ooh, I keep wanting to say Asuka, which is like, that's just the way but Asuka is just, this sounds weird to me. But yeah, so if I say Asuka by accident, then you know who I'm talking about. Okay, and then we had the Becky versus Lita talk. And it's like, oh, I looked up to you and all that. So I mean, these. I mean, the two of them together were okay talking. I mean, it was fine. I like Becky. Her accent goes a long way, which I think is great. I actually think Becky's pretty funny sometimes. The way, not in this one, but in the last.
The government name.
Talking, and she's like, you're Becky Lynch. Yeah, it's like you never back down from challenge. Right, I never back down. It's like you always. And she's like, wait, what's happening here? And then she realizes, what am I saying?
What am I agreeing to?
What am I agreeing to? What happening?
They tried to make her. Yeah.
Money
yeah. That's exactly right. Like,
these superhero gimmicks, man. Look, I'm the superhero master. Okay, I love superheroes, but do I want them in wrestling? No. Even when Blue Blazer, I was like, yeah, that's okay.
The best was Hurricane, only because they gave him to The Rock, and The Rock was just funny.
Right.
Like the Hurricane was in his locker room behind the curtains.
Yeah.
And he was just there. And like The Rock just opened it and he's there. He's like,
you hear, yeah.
And he just closed. He's like what? Why is this guy in my closet or whatever?
And I don't get like almost a superhero. Like, what is that like?
Yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like almost well, Vince McMahon has this habit of sort of demeaning his wrestlers. Chad Gable was Shorty G for a while because he's not very tall. I'm like, okay, you're already demeaning him. Why should I pay attention to him? And it's the same with Nikki. You're basically saying she'll never be a superhero. So I'm like, okay.
Yeah, like just call her Super Nikki or something, or the Magnificent Nikki or something. Or I don't know. Like,
well, they had this thing where she would when she was just Nikki Cross and she was with Alexa Bliss.
Yeah,
that was kind of cool because you could almost say like Nikki was Alexa's biggest fan and Alexa was the actual good part of the team, so she would just be like, sort of thing. And then she would lose her mind and freak out, and that's cool if you had her where she would just lose her temper like Ken Shamrock would, and just go to town on someone and forget. I'm like, that's cool. Like, show that she's getting beaten up, and then she gets mad about beaten up, and then she loses it, but then she loses because she loses her mind because she's getting beaten up. That's kind of interesting. And then you have like someone trying to be like harness that would be fine, but Nikki Cross is actually a very good technical wrestler, but she just doesn't have whatever they're looking for, and they give her stupid gimmicks.
You know what I would do? I would have her lose the cape thing. Yeah, maybe call herself Cross.
Yeah,
with not just Cross.
Yeah,
and have it be like she's like completely insane and like you don't know what you're gonna get out of her.
Yeah,
and give her some sort of like, just like, even if you kept the same superhero costume but like inverted it, so it's like the yellow is black or something, or the blue is black and the yellow is like dark red or something, like almost like some weird super villain, like make her a super villain with a different costume, and like she can even have like a cross thing, like instead of the mask, like maybe she have like a cross kind of mask. I don't know. I was just thinking like do something like cooler, because like the superhero thing, it's like we know she's not a superhero, so why is that even a thing?
Well, in her name, it's she's not a superhero. Right? Like. Yeah. The thing is that Becky, it's hard to boo Becky. She's just so awesome.
She's awesome. I don't care what she does.
It's one of those things where she becomes, it's like Jake the Snake, just popular heel.
Yeah, he's awesome.
No one wanted to boo him. No one wants to boo Becky. I don't boo Becky. Like, they tried her damnedest, and she did the cheap thing where it's like, I turned my back on the fans, and all that. And then she stopped for effect, and you heard people sort of go boo, but it was half-hearted. You're right, though, Just Joe. Like, Lita Nee is one of the few who is so damn popular. If Becky wants to be a heel, that's who you put her against. You got to put her against really cherished people to get her over as a heel, because it just doesn't work. She's too awesome now. It's like, when they turned Stone Cold heel and everyone was just sitting there going, why?
Yeah, Stone Cold was like never a heel. Like he was a heel in the very, very, very beginnings, but that was a bad heel. Yeah. And then they try to make him bad, even worse, but it's like, it kind of reversed. It's like it had the reverse effect where people were just like, oh, this guy's awesome. Who is he going to stun next? I remember literally we were like, oh my God, who is Stone Cold going to stun this week? And that you literally tuned in to see what was going to happen, right? So yeah, Lita is it like there's not anyone who doesn't think Lita's awesome.
Yeah.
Like there's people who will say, well, I thought this person was overrated or this person wasn't that good but I don't think anyone thinks Lita was not good.
Lita is one of the true genuine legends.
Yeah.
The stuff she used to do. I mean, she came in as a valet for, and I don't even remember his name. He was a Hispanic wrestler, and she got over big time. And everyone forgot who the male wrestler was.
I don't even remember. I remember her. I watched all of her run. So
yeah. Yeah. And then they paired her with the Hardy Boys, which was a genius move.
Genius.
She worked with them so well. Super athletic teams.
She beat the Hardy Boys. Like, to me, it's like she's
the third Hardy Boy. I know.
She's the real. She's better than the other two.
Oh yeah, talent wise, yeah.
Like I liked her more than the other two. I was like, I just want to see Lita come on here.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I mean, the Hardy Boys, again, they did their best work outside of WWE, I think.
Right.
But like Lita was incredible. The stuff she would do. It was just very unfortunate. She had that whole run with Edge because of what happened in real life, which I wish. I know why they did it, but it was just Esse Rios. Yes, thank you, Joe. It's Esse Rios. That guy, no one, yeah, he people were pumped up for him because of Lita, and then like WWE.
I do remember Esse Rios though; he was pretty funny.
Yeah, he was funny, but then he got all jealous, and I think that was not a. I don't think that was a. I don't think that was a work. I think that was real. I think he was pissed off because Lita took his thunder. But I'm like, she's one of the most incredible female performers who to this day, still is one of the best.
They even said her last match was like 10 years ago or something or whatever it was.
Yeah, her last championship run was 15 years ago. She's 46 and she can still do what they're doing.
Wow. That's pretty good. She's older. She's older than we are.
Yeah.
She's going back in. I mean, let's see. I think it's going to, look, I'm looking forward to that match. I like those two. Yep. It's the two redheads. Let's see what happens. That'll be cool. Okay, so last thing to talk about was basically Liv Morgan versus Dewdrop. And Dewdrop won. Pretty much clean win. There wasn't any shenanigans. I mean, was that we're sorry you lost, we're sorry we had you lose at Rumble, so we're just giving you this win? Like, I mean, or was there anything between Liv Morgan or Dewdrop, or this was just like a let's have a match to have something?
No, this was like Bianca and Nikki Ash. They're both in the Elimination Chamber, so they sort of wanted to tease
right
the competitors in the Elimination Chamber.
Right.
It doesn't do anything for either woman because Dewdrop can pretty much squash anyone, but she just isn't going to win a belt. And meanwhile, Liv Morgan is constantly the underdog. She's super athletic again. Great worker in the ring. She's one of my favorites.
I like her a lot too. I like her little
the tears, or the beads or whatever. I don't know if they're tears or what they are, but like
I don't know what it's supposed to be. But
if you look at her moves, they're very innovative. I like her character a lot. I like her look a lot, and it's just as soon as it's like Liv Morgan versus Dewdrop, I'm like, Dewdrop's going to beat her. She's just going to jump on her, and that's it. Yes. Making the Road Warriors heels.
There's so much hype for those guys, man. Like they're in that game. They were in the WrestleFest game, which I absolutely love, where everyone had 4 fingers. They were missing like and like they're the villains. I mean, they were the main team there. That like them getting like I remember the hype of those guys when they came to like when they were coming to WWE or whatever, and it was like there was like a lot of hype for those guys because even in where'd they start? They started in. I
don't know if they were in AWA. They were in NWA for sure.
And then like because they moved around a lot, but they always came together. It wasn't like where it's like guys would break off and go wherever they want. You know, they always came, and they were always the Road Warriors, right?
Yeah. The Legion of Doom. The Road Warriors.
Yeah, Legion of, sorry, they got called the Legion of Doom in
when they came WWE.
Why is
I mean, they were so popular. WWE made their own Road Warriors, which were Demolition. They were
it was a ripoff. It was a super ripoff. I like Demolition. I did too. Right, they're right behind Honky Tonk Man, who's right there.
I always remember the Rumble match where I think Axe got number 1 and Smash got number 2, and they got in, and Smash got in the ring, and I remember Gorilla Monsoon is like, are they really going to go at each other? And they went at each other. They're like, oh my God, they're going at each other. And the third one out was Andre the Giant. And as soon as he came out, Axe and Smash stopped pounding each other and just went right after Andre.
Like, why would you? The Royal Rumble, I love the Royal Rumble, but like, there's a lot of wonky shit going on in that match.
Why would you stop anyone from being eliminated?
And that sometimes the Rumble, where it kind of like it breaks it for me.
Yeah.
Dewdrop, as Jim Cornette said in the name. Like Dewdrop.
I don't know what they were thinking with that one.
I don't get it. But yeah, sometimes it would take me out of the story a little bit with it. But the one where Ric Flair lasted the entire time, he was like number 3 or 4, and Bobby Heenan was literally going out of his mind. He's like, no, and then he wins the whole thing, and he like a lot of it, he's like hiding in the corner, and it's like, oh no, and I'm like, man, what about the Repo Man who came and went under the ring, and then you never saw him again?
He's still there, as far as I'm concerned.
I think the Repo Man should come out at next year's Rumble and win and be like, I've been here. I've been biding my time.
Repo Man is the greatest.
Like, that character Smash.
What's that?
He was Smash, right?
Yeah, he was Smash.
He went from Smash to the Repo Man. But Double C was watching NXT 2.0. I have no idea what these women wrestlers are. Okay, so do we get that in Canada, like officially?
Yeah, we do. I've seen the reruns
because I set it up on my PVR to grab it just in case if I needed it. But you know what, like if they're not on the main rosters, it's just like we've been going for about an hour now. I don't want these things to go on forever and ever. Like I just want to cover the main topics, and and it's like there's no point. If there's something that you feel you need to bring it up for sure. If someone in the chat wants to bring something up, that's cool. But like, I just want to go through and just pay a little bit of love and respect to the women who, for me, like this has become my most exciting thing because it's like, oh, I like to take the notes and see what's happening next and what's going on, and it's just. It's more positive because like a lot of the stuff that we do ends up getting into arguments or we're like debating stuff, and it's like I want to have something like positive where it's like we're just having a good time, everyone's enjoying themselves, nobody's trying to like say someone sucks or not. It's like, look, these people are performers, they do a lot of work, they have to keep in shape. Like you see these actors and actresses and they're like, oh, I've got to work out for this movie. It's like, yeah, but you've got like these women have to be worked out. They always have to be ready to go. So it's very difficult. And I think people, it's like, oh, it's all fake and all that. that automatically pisses me off sometimes. It's like, okay, it's fake, but so is the Dark Knight is fake. It's like, it's not real. It's performance. And there's music involved, there's costuming involved, there's characters involved, there's story involved. And then not only that, the theater of it is a physical theater. So it's not just the theater of you and I playing off each other. Oh, Steve, I'm going to kick your ass at the Royal Rumble. You know, it's like, but then we have to go and perform this, right?
Yeah, I've always preferred it to the real stuff. I think I mentioned this last week, just because the real stuff is very, it's not clean. It's not like if you watch a boxing match, how many hits are flush, right? Like a lot of the hits are the guys covering up or the person.
Oh yeah. And I watch
like it's not a good, like someone's trying to stop you from punching, so they're getting their arm tangled up. I always said, so someone at work said to me, I don't watch MMA. I said, I tried to watch MMA and I have a lot of respect for the fighters, again, training and all that. But there's so much hugging. I'm like, what is going on with all the hugging? And there's a lot of like deep cinch moves and stuff like that. And, like if you think about it, the reason why, wrestling is scripted is because how many times, like how long was Becky Lynch bent over waiting for Lita to give her the twist of fate? If that was a legit match, Becky would be fighting her, clawing at her, whatever. She wouldn't even be able to get that move off, right? Like, not in a real fight. Like, Becky would have to be knocked out.
Oh, yeah. And I'm watching, I watch UFC. I watch I only watch the women's matches.
Yeah.
So because we've been streaming on Saturdays, it's been difficult to catch everything. And plus, I don't pay for any of the pay-per-views, so I only see the fight nights or whatever. And I mean, Amanda Nunes just lost her last match, which I was like literally stunned, but her heart was just not in it, I think. But whatever. But that's a whole different thing. Like that's completely different than putting on an entertaining show.
Yeah.
That's what, to me, it's like, I know they say sports entertainment. Well, look, it's a movie, it's a TV show, it's a running TV show. It's got seasons and matches and all that. And UFC is like a whole different thing. That you're looking to get good strikes in, right? And then or if you're a takedown person, like Ronda was doing jiu-jitsu all the time in her matches, and she wants the armbar. That's literally, she'd win. She won a lot with that armbar. I know it's like, this freaking armbar. Yeah, but she won a lot with that. Like, I don't know what to tell you. So I'm actually on Big Brother right now. Misha Tate is on the Celebrity Big Brother, which I'm not watching because it's just awful. But she's on there. And it's like, it's tough. Like that's a different thing. You're training for your match.
Yeah.
You go out there for your, few rounds, whatever it happens to be. And you try to take the person down and get a knockout or whatever you can to win submission. And it's tough. And it can be boring if you're looking for scripted stuff.
Yeah.
Because, and the hits are either nothing or brutal. Like, like I've seen people get kicked in the face. Like, whoa. It's like, I just got kicked badly. So, if you watch one UFC fight and then you watch wrestling, wrestling is scripted.
Yeah, it's choreographed. But I don't think you would get the moves you get in there. Like, you just would not. The person's not going to stand there for 10 seconds and wait for you to hit a moonsault. Like, it's not happening. And I prefer the scripted stuff just because it just doesn't look, it's not choreographed. Actual fights are just brutal and don't look good to me. It's very much like you don't see the hits that well because the person's trying to block you from hitting them or trying to stop you from hitting them. It's very tangled and like, it's hard for me to see like, oh, that's a great hit, but it's like, it's just a mess of arms and legs usually for me.
Yeah. If you watch the real, like, so if you watch and you can watch all of Ronda's matches if you want on YouTube, literally it's like, they'll get down and then people are like, they're like this.
Yeah.
And she gets her arm in and pulls this back, twist, done, tap. And you're like, what was that? Right. I remember staying up late for the Tyson fights. And the Tyson fights were 30. It's like bing, bing, psh, 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 boom, bam, boom, done. You're like, what happened? And I it took me about 3 or 4 Tyson matches before I smartened up. I'm like, okay, I'm not staying up till 1 a.m. for this anymore. Like, I'll just record this.
Yeah.
And I'll wake up tomorrow and fast forward to Tyson and watch it for 1 minute before I head out the door. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And same with I have seen some cool MMA moves though. Like I have seen some pretty like you're just like whoa. Like I've seen a few where, and the thing is, it's like because we do our streams and I wake up in the next morning, I go on Twitter and then all the matches are spoiled because it's on it's everywhere.
Like, oh my god!
Yeah. But and then you see the highlights, you're like, whoa. So there's some good matches out there. It's just a different audience. And I know a few people that like both things. I do like the women's in both, but again, it's
two different things.
They're different things. I like the storylines. I like to see who and for me, I don't care about who I'm rooting for because everyone is a star. We talked about. I wouldn't mind. I'd love to. I mean, it'd be great to go to this one in March, but I'm just not sure about it. Right? It's like I don't know if it's going to be like if they're going to cancel it or something weird with because it's in Canada, and I'm scared that they're going to be like, yeah, we're all great, and then it's going to be canceled or whatever. But like because Becky Lynch would be there and all those other ones, so whatever. We'll just have to see how it goes. But it'd be awesome to have to get like the VIPs and because I watched a bunch of videos about people doing the VIPs, so it's pretty good. The wrestlers there, but you don't get to pick. I don't think you can pick the wrestlers that you meet. It's like you meet 5 or 6 of them, but it's anybody getting W. No, I have last wrestling game I bought. Well, firstly, I only have Xbox 360. So, and Steve, I don't think you have any of that, right?
I stopped with the platforms a while ago. I had a Wii that pretty much broke me. It's so hard now to carve out the time to sit down and devote it. And these games need you to devote time to it. And I used to play it a lot, Double C. I used to play the 2K. I remember I had surgery on my tailbone, and that's what got me through some of it because they went back to the Attitude Era, and you got to relive the Attitude Era, but you were controlling the wrestlers, which was awesome. I forget which one that was.
I don't remember.
It's a long time ago because I think 2011. So it's probably 2K12 or whatever. But, they're great games. It's just I don't do platforms anymore. I just don't have the time to devote to it anymore. Like I have a lot of retro stuff and I can just pick it up, play it for a little bit and then leave.
Yeah, I only play Street Fighter. If I throw something at Street Fighter, I've got Alien Isolation, which I'm dying to play. I've been all over Transformers recently. So I was looking at the Cybertron games. Yeah. And literally there's a guy who's got like a 9-hour video or something, and it's the whole game. I'm like, I'll just watch this guy play the whole thing. And then I got it. Just show like choreograph and just Big Man or Ronda.
Yeah.
The worst looking strikes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's tough. Like once it's like Santa. Once Santa wasn't really bringing your presents down, it's hard.
It's hard to come back and like, with modern sensibilities, we know kayfabe and all this stuff. Like, when Randy Savage turned on Hulk Hogan, I wanted Randy Savage beaten severely, like for real. Like, how dare you go against Hulk Hogan? But now you see, and I loved, there was someone, I think it was Jim Ross said this. There was one shot and it showed the punch hitting the person in the ear. And he's like, those punches to the ears, they hurt so much because, and I'm like, what are you talking about, Jim Ross? Like, you're ridiculous. But I do, you notice now, like, whenever you hear the kicks and you hear, it's usually the guy slapping his thigh or something. Yeah. But it sounds good, right? It's like Gold Dust. Gold Dust would do the thing where he'd give you the uppercut with his glove. And it's like you would hear it. And people would swear to me he's really hitting the guy. And I'm like, no. But it sounds really good. It's suspension of disbelief. It's like any good movie. It's suspension of disbelief.
Right. That's why I'm saying it's a performance.
Yeah, like, it's a performance.
It's an acting performance, and it's a physical performance as well.
And I may not like this character, or I might not like where this storyline is going, but you got to give kudos to the performers. They're immensely talented. Generally, like there's a couple like who, Eva Marie, she had no business being in a wrestling ring. She just wasn't good. But mostly they're very talented, and you got to give them kudos for what they put themselves through every week for our entertainment. So,
yeah, and I think we can end it with that statement right there. Okay, guys, so we're gonna wrap it up. We're gonna be live tomorrow, 7:30 Eastern. We're gonna do Terminator 1 versus Terminator 2. Sean has already that scared Sean off. He's like, I can't do it. And he's like, Sean is not coming tomorrow. He's like, I can't do it. I can't pick between those two. It's impossible.
Really?
Well, that's not why he's not showing up.
That was a deal breaker, right?
That's going to be my fake reason for why he's not showing up. But I've got a couple of other people lined up to come in as well. So we're going to talk about Terminator 1 versus Terminator 2. Saturday, we'll be live at 7:30 Eastern. And we're going to talk about Superman and Lois, Peacemaker.
We're not talking about Superman and Lois. It's not on this week.
It's not on this week. Okay, well,
Olympics.
Peacemaker's finale, I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I told you, Sean can't handle that one. He can't. It's
yeah. I mean, we can go Jason the Argonauts versus Clash. We can go like,
Indiana
Jones versus Temple of Doom, but like. Terminator versus Terminator, like he draws the line at that one.
Yeah, I can't. The line must be drawn here. Here, no further. Well, Joe, we're gonna be on tomorrow. We're gonna go through it the way I go through it, which is gonna be breaking down the story, the pacing, the artistry, the characters, and the enjoyment. So we're gonna go through it because it is close, and I think it's super close. I think it's super close, and maybe closer than people think that it is. And then we'll be back 1 week from today. We'll talk about Raw and SmackDown and see what's going on. We're going to figure out who's going to be in the Elimination Chamber. And the Elimination Chamber, when that happens, we will work that in to whatever. I'm going to do it the Thursday to the Monday. So it will always be sort of, it'll always be Tuesday, which will cover the previous. Friday and Monday, and then whatever the weekend is, which works out perfect. Yeah, that works out perfectly. Okay, guys, thanks for everyone for popping in, and we will hopefully see you tomorrow.
Hey friends, you've just been listening to J-Man, and he is the smartest person who ever lived. So make sure you like and subscribe.